Good evening. Welcome to the Village Board of the Village of Pleasantville, New York. Today is Monday, April 4, 2011, and we are happy to welcome you to the annual organizational meeting of the Village of Pleasantville. It's a state requirement that we have an annual organizational meeting, and the highlight of that is the swearing in and installation of the new officers who were elected at the recent election. So tonight we have the swearing in of our Village Justice, John Curley, who we are delighted to have back serving us again, and trustees Mindy, Berard, and Brian Skarstad will be reinstalled for another term. So without further ado, our first step is to swear in Judge Curley, and then Judge Curley will fill the role he has always filled in the past, and that is to swear in the new trustees.
So after you get sworn in, do you go and put your robe on and then you come back out?
Welcome, Judge.
Thank you.
Repeat after me if you would. I solemnly swear
I solemnly swear
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of the State of New York
and the Constitution of the State of New York
and the Municipal Code of the Village of Pleasantville,
and the Municipal Code of the Village of Pleasantville,
and that I will faithfully discharge the duties of the Office of Village Justice
and that I will faithfully discharge the duties of Office of the Village Justice
according to the best of my abilities.
according to the best of my ability.
Welcome, sir. Welcome back. Delighted to have you. I will then cede the podium to you, and you can perform the same service for Brian and Mindy.
Sounds great. Mindy? So raise your right hand. I, Mindy Berard,
I, Mindy
do
Berard,
solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will support the Constitution of the United States,
that I will support the Constitution of the United
the
States,
Constitution of the State of New York,
the Constitution of the State of New York,
and the Municipal Code of the Village of Pleasantville,
and the Municipal Code of the Village of Pleasantville,
and that I will faithfully discharge my duties
and I will faithfully discharge my duties
as a trustee for the Village of Pleasantville
as a trustee for the Village of Pleasantville
according to the best of my ability.
according to the best of my ability.
Congratulations.
Thank you very much.
Raise your right hand. I, Brian Skarstad.
I, Brian Skarstad,
Do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will support the Constitution of the United States,
that I will support the Constitution of the United States,
the Constitution of the State of New York,
the Constitution of the State of New York,
and the Municipal Code of the Village of Pleasantville,
the Municipal Code of the Village of Pleasantville,
and that I will faithfully discharge my duties
that I will faithfully discharge my duties
as a trustee for the Village of Pleasantville
as a trustee for the Village of Pleasantville
according to the best of my ability.
according to the best of my ability.
Congratulations.
Judge, let me encourage you to remain there. It's a great tradition to invite the newly sworn-in officials to make a few comments, and you can lead off.
That's poetic. Yeah, great. Thank you, Mayor. First and foremost, I'd just like to thank the people who took the time on March 15th to go out and vote. Being the only uncontested race, I was a little unsure what to expect, and I was stunned by the number of people that did go out and most appreciative of their support. I'm truly grateful to everyone who took the time to vote. I'd also like to thank Joe Stargiotti for running for election and demonstrating his willingness to further serve the community. Contested elections are good for any community. I think that they serve a vital purpose in allowing information that can be put forth regarding what the position involves, and it gives the people a choice as to whom they want to serve. I was also fortunate to have a number of people volunteer their guidance, support, and service leading up to the election. I've also already spoken to them, and I am truly humbled by their support and most appreciative of their friendship. I'd also like to take the opportunity to thank Susan Galata, who has served as the acting village justice for the last 16 years and who is stepping down from the position. Susan has been a tremendous support to me and has performed a wonderful service to this community. I have always valued her opinion and insights on many issues that have come before the court. I wish she and Jack all the best going forward. Last but not least, I want to thank my campaign manager, who happens to double as my best friend and my wife. Thank you for your support, your encouragement, and most of all, your love. Finally, I want to congratulate Mindy and Brian for their re-election and continued service to the community, and I thank you for everything that you guys do for the community. It's great. I've enjoyed serving as the village justice. I am honored by the confidence that you have shown in me. I thank you for the opportunity to continue in this position, and I look forward to the next 4 years. Thank you very much.
Thank Thank you, Judge Curley. Mindy?
Thank you, Judge Curley, and congratulations to you and Brian, of course. Again, I echo your comments of thanking everybody that came out to vote. I don't think Brian and I would have gotten that many votes if it wasn't for you, Judge. But also for Judy Weintraub, our village clerk, who had to wrestle with a lot of the HAVA laws, the new HAVA laws for the state, and we got to vote on those brand new optic machines that are a little crazy at times. But it was really quite a journey, and I won't go into the whole thing, but Judy worked very hard to try to get us to all either use those or the lever machines, and she opted for the optic machines so we could get used to it come November 2012, and actually this coming November for the elections. So thank you very much, Judy. You worked very hard, and we really do appreciate it. It was quite a turnout. I'd like to thank my daughter and my husband who are here. Appreciate it. And my mom and dad who always watch on PCTV online. Appreciate it. I do want to say one thing. You know, people have often said in my first term, why do we have village government? And if you look at what goes on in this country lately and in this county and all over the place, you can see that village government is probably the only thing that works right now. There's no parties. We're not beholden to anybody but the taxpayers. If we disagree on something, we disagree on it on its merit. We don't have to report back to a caucus or anything like that. There's no Democrat, Republican, and independent. We are who we are, and we're fighting for the taxpayers of the village of Pleasantville. So I'm honored to do that again, and I thank you very much.
And I'd like to congratulate John Curley on his election. Thank you for bringing out all the votes to Mindy and me. You say that the contested elections are the best kind of elections. Well, they're good after you win them. That's generally the way it works. It's funny. I've done this a few times. For those of you who have paid attention, this is my including the special election. Just
34th?
Yeah, fifth election, something like that. And I went to the fifth election. So, and what I generally hear from people as I walk around Pleasantville is, given the problems that we face, if you look in the newspaper, you read about all the problems we face. Why are you doing this? Why wouldn't you just leave it to somebody else? And I just have to say that rather than being pessimistic or worried about the future, I am really optimistic about the future of this village, the future of Pleasantville, and excited about the possibilities and the potential, and excited about the idea of rethinking how village government works, how it looks and how it works. And I just have to say that without these 4 people on the board, then I probably wouldn't have done it. You have 4 people here and 5 counting Patty, but 4 who have good fights regularly. As you all know, we don't hold back. And if you come here late at night on Monday nights, you might think that we would walk out of here just bitter enemies, and we're not. We can walk out of here and be good friends, and we respect each other. And I would have to say that I can't even imagine a government at any level that works as well as this government does, where we can have extremely different opinions, and we deal with those. And that's why I think you're looking at a pretty enlightened and a pretty progressive village. So thank you to everybody here, Judy, Patty, Mary. Thank you for all that you do, and let's get going.
Thank you, Judge Curley and Mindy, Berard, and Brian Skarstad. welcome again to the fold. We are delighted to have you, and delighted to say what we can always say, which is, Pleasantville's own have come back where they belong. So glad to have you in that position, and thank you for all of your comments. Just wanted to add a few comments. I won't go on at great length, but it hasn't been the easiest of years this year, or maybe the last couple of years, for a whole series of reasons. Obviously, it has been a time when the economy has not cooperated with some of the plans we all would have liked to have, and amid that, as you all well know, we've had some tragic events in this community, including some personal tragedies, some extremely difficult circumstances for some members of our staff. We've lost people, we've had illness, and amid all that, suffered the tragic event in October at the Thornwood Town Center when DJ Henry was killed and our police officers were involved. An event that is really an unspeakable tragedy for absolutely everybody who was involved, and obviously engaged all of us in a process that continues to this day. Amid that, the reality is that, just as Brian indicated, this group of 60 or 70 people who work for the Village of Pleasantville, and this group of 5 people who lead the Village of Pleasantville, and all of the people on the boards and commissions and volunteer groups of every stripe, and the people that go to Pleasantville schools, and the people that go to Pleasantville's churches, and the people that have organizations and bridge clubs and book groups and support sports in this community and kids activities and music festivals, all represent this coming together of a community that has a generations-old tradition of doing just that. And I realized the other day that I am at the, 26-year point in living in Pleasantville, that I'm approaching the point of having spent half my life here, certainly far longer in this place than any of the places that led before it. And I can say with great honesty that, flawed as we are as people and flawed as this place is, what a wonderful place it is, and how richly these community members show that, especially in times like those that we have experienced in the last year or two. And I can report to you that it has been a difficult year in many ways for our staff members, and I say that both because a whole series of things have cascaded upon them, including, it can't be forgotten, the craziness of the snow in January and February, and the heroic work of our DPW guys, led by Steve Johnson and Rob Travis, who kept this community clear of snow and ice in ways that lots of people noticed. I take with a little local pride that a number of people say, hey, you can tell where the village border is. I never know in the spring and the summer where the village border is, but when it snows, you can tell. So that obviously is all in a day's work for those people. But it is true in every one of our departments, our finance department, our building department, Parks and Rec, our police department, our senior programs have all gone on this year and in the past couple of years under difficult circumstances, and it has engaged all of us in difficult discussions about how you do more with less, how the future can look different. We've engaged ourselves in a rather serious enterprise of looking ahead to see what this village could look like in a year, and in 3 years, and in 5 years, and in 10 years, what the cost of government might be, what levers we could pull, and what wheels we could turn that might make the overhead of government lower, and help to address the inexorable increase of taxes. At the same time, we're working hard, and I'm happy to report with some really, really positive signs on the horizon to try to increase the tax base. A bunch of positive things look like they may happen. Nothing is signed, sealed, and delivered until it occurs, but we're cautiously optimistic that the long moribund site at MLA on Marble Avenue may spark back to life. We have a number of interesting projects going on in the village right now that are already through the approvals process, and there are shovels in the ground. We are the subject of some significant interest by developers, and I can say that that is due in significant part to the yeoman service of all the people that work here and all the people who work for this village in so many different capacities. We have attracted the interest of developers for a whole series of reasons, including the the quality of our schools, the quality of our programs, the services we offer to the community, the quality snow plowing, I'm sure must be a big piece of all of that. The nightlife presented by the Jacob Burns Film Center, the remarkable array of restaurants that have certainly on a per capita basis got to make Pleasantville one of the restaurant capitals of Westchester County, and the reality that people want to be in this place, and although that will take some work to manage change, that can only be described as a good thing. There isn't any question that one of the ways out of the trap of higher taxes is to get a few more people helping to pay them, and we are hard at work on that front. You've heard us chat sometimes early in the game, sometimes later in the game, about various different initiatives we have undertaken, the most recent being the ongoing discussion of the possibility of selling this building, 80 Wheeler Avenue, as Village Hall, and potentially moving Village Hall to the Methodist Church property up on Maple Hill, and then the Methodist Church potentially buying the old rec center on Bedford Road at Great Oak Lane. I can report that it does not appear at all likely that that's actually going to happen, but I can also report that you should take pride in the fact that this board and this staff is thinking that way. And the effort we went through to analyze that and determine whether it makes sense and whether it would be possible has also led us, I think, to a sharpened understanding of what we need in terms of the space we occupy and how the space we occupy might be tweaked over a period of time to make government more efficient, more flexible, give us more opportunities down the road to provide the services you want and expect, but to do so at lower costs. So in the category of rules to live by, I think it's fair to say that if you never hatch a plan and work hard on it and find that it didn't work, you're not hatching enough plans. So we continue to work hard on that. You will be hearing more in the coming weeks and months about discussions about ways in which we may share services or consolidate services. We're at the beginning stage of a very serious discussion with our police department and some of our colleagues in the vicinity, including the town of Mount Pleasant and the county of Westchester, about the ways in which our police services might be carried out in different ways. And we begin that undertaking with absolutely no preconception of what the right answer is at all, simply the reality that all of our local government entities have a need to save money, and if there's a way to save money and to do so in a manner that provides the services we want, we have an obligation, and I can assure you that we're going to go down those roads and see what answers we can come up with through a careful analysis. That will be a process that will engage everybody. We'll be happy to have lots of opinion on that front, and it may in the end turn out that some of the reviews we make of each of our departments simply ratify that we're doing the right thing and we're doing it in an efficient way. But we have, as I mentioned, the obligation to go there, and also the commitment on the part of this board to make sure that we turn over some stones that haven't been turned over in a long time, simply because we have to do it. The reality here is that governments, like many of us as individuals, are confronting higher costs and reduced revenues. I'll use a brief aside in my conversations to comment that the governor has been pushing hard for a 2% tax cap. The governor's mandates, or I should say Albany's mandates to the village of Pleasantville and also to the school district in Pleasantville, are themselves the cause of a greater than 2% tax increase. So maybe we could lay down the gauntlet, the David of Pleasantville to the Goliath of Albany, that if you want a tax cap on us, how about one on you? So live by the rules you want us to live by. So more on that at a different time. But let me close by echoing Brian's comments about optimism for the future in this place. So many good people, so many good things, so many people who have struggled through some difficult times and have shown their mettle. And that is certainly true of the people that work here for the Village of Pleasantville and my colleagues here on the board. It has not been an easy time, and the next year will not be an easy time. It has drawn all of us on the board into difficult discussions that haven't been had in the past, simply because we're required by the financial circumstances of the region and the country to have those discussions, where people are talking about what their futures may look like and reconsidering what they once thought was a fairly assured picture of what next year and the next decade would look like. So I just want to thank everybody who's participated in that discussion, our staff, our unions, our department heads, and Patty Dwyer has been a rock in all of that. Thank you, Judy Weintraub, for sitting by us and keeping us between the white lines, which you do so well. And lastly, let me just say, as Brian did on behalf of the board, that we signed on for these jobs, and we wanted them, and we're glad to have them. And most days when you ask us, we're having some fun doing it. But there are some days that aren't that much fun. And we get yelled at, sometimes fairly, sometimes unfairly. But we find ourselves in places that we don't have to be. We go there because we care about the place. And those places include difficult conversations with our staff and our employees. Those places include funerals and hospital beds and meetings with lawyers, and in the case of some of us, a circumstance where we found ourselves personally sued in a circumstance that really had very little to do with us. So I toss that out there simply to honor what these people do, and to let you know that their service and the service of the people around us make me proud to live in this place, and it should make you proud too. So thank you. We now have one of the most exciting moments of the year when we read off pages and pages and pages and pages of resolutions, most of which are the same as the ones you heard last year. So we encourage you to stick with us. I'll read off the first one, which is resolution number 57, mayoral appointments. Resolved that the following mayoral appointments are hereby approved. Library Board Liaison, Trustee Brian Skarstad. School Board Liaison, Trustee Mindy Berard. Planning Commission Liaison, Trustee Stephen Lopez. Zoning Board of Appeals Liaison, Trustee Stephen Lopez. Parks and Rec Advisory Board, Trustee Mindy Berard. Conservation Advisory Board, Trustee Brian Skarstad. Board of Architectural Review, Trustee Stephen Lopez. Chamber of Commerce, Mayor Peter Shearer. Ambulance Corps District, Trustee Mindy Berard. Fire Department, Mayor Peter Shearer. Business Support Council, Trustee Jonathan Cunningham. Beautification Committee, Trustee Brian Skarstad. Finance Advisory Committee, Jonathan Cunningham. PCTV, Jonathan Cunningham. Affordable Housing Committee, Peter Shearer and Brian Skarstad. Parking Advisory Committee, Mindy Berard. And then the Trustee Department Liaisons, Mindy Berard to Parks and Rec, Peter Shearer to Police Department, Brian Skarstad to Public Works, Stephen Lopez to Building, Jonathan Cunningham to Finance, and Mindy Berard to Senior Programs. Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Then number 58, resolve the following mayoral appointments are hereby approved for the terms in accordance with village law. Deputy Mayor Jonathan Cunningham through April 2012. Trustee of the Police Pension Fund Jonathan Cunningham through April 2012, serving with the Mayor and the Chief of Police. Prosecutor David Whalen through April 2012. Village Treasurer Mary Schwartz serving through April 2013. Deputy Village Clerk Patty Dwyer serving through April 2012. Deputy Village Treasurer Pamela Hoffman serving through April 2012. We will, at our next meeting, be appointing an acting village justice. We're currently in discussions with a couple of people regarding that. Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor? Aye. Steve, number 59.
Resolves the Board of Trustees.
All right, I'll read it.
Oh, that was good.
Lopez, don't say it.
All right.
I was just about to change that slate.
Yeah. All right, in that case, I better take this one. Resolve, the Board of Trustees of the Village of Pleasantville hereby approves the following mayoral appointments to various boards, commissions, and committees. Architectural Review Board through April 2014, Dražen Chachkovich and Elizabeth Ward. Ethics Board, John Nona through April 2012, Bernard Gordon through April 2013. Zoning Board, both through April 2016, Austin Campriello and Stephen Block. Conservation Advisory Council through April 2013, Tom Daniels, Libby Brenneschultz, Doug McDonald, Helen Muir, and Jennifer Frawley. Parks and Rec Advisory Board through April 2014, Christina Lang. Public Safety Committee through April 2012, Anthony Charletti, the chair, Fred Hettinger, Joe Gulata, Chris Satriali, and John Cullen. Village Curator through April 2012, Karsten Johnson. Beautification Committee through April 2012, Kathy Dinkle, chair, Marion Coughlin, Franz Cabela, Elizabeth Ward, Gary Carriero, Tanya Cunningham, Marlene Canapi, Marilee Watts, Amy Harder, and Colleen Peterson. Business Support Council through April 2012, Peter Russell, Antoinette Emerson, Kathy Dinkle, Chris Cornell, Peter Eschweiler, John Crisco, Ben Lane, Peter Rogovan, Karen Kleinman, and Seth Greenwald. And Farmers Market through April 2012, Peter Rogovan, Sarah Rogovan, Andy Goodman, Amanda Dundas, Alicia Sarabin, Stuart Vance, and Tony Emerson. Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion approved, and thank you to all who have agreed to participate again. Everybody included in those lists needs to sign the oath. Is that true? So at some point in the next week, if you could make your way to the office of Judy Weintraub and sign the oath book.
I'll tell you, it's some coup for Peter Rogovan to get his wife to be on the committee now, too.
I'd say that's indentured
It's like-
servitude.
Yes, I think so. That's a tough committee.
She was
All
on
right.
last year, though, wasn't she?
Yeah.
Now that I read the long one, now we'll go to Steve, number 60.
Resolved, the stated meetings of the Board of Trustees shall be held at 8 p.m. on the second and fourth Mondays of each month, except April, when the first regular meeting. Organizational meeting shall be the first Monday and shall convene at 7 p.m. Work sessions shall commence at 7 p.m. When any such meeting date falls on a legal holiday, the meeting shall be held on the next succeeding day without further notice, unless amended by the Board of Trustees. All meetings of the Board of Trustees will take place at Village Hall, 80 Wheeler Avenue, second floor, unless otherwise noticed.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Mindy, 61.
Resolved that the Board of Trustees of the Village of Pleasantville hereby sets the following procedures for calling for a special meeting by the Board of Trustees. A special meeting can be called by either the mayor or at least two trustees acting together. The Board of Trustees will be contacted by either telephone, telefax, or email. In the event a special meeting is to be called, all attempts will be made to contact the news media and public as soon as practical after calling for the special meeting.
Is there a second?
Second.
Telefax is kind of a
Yeah.
historical piece, right?
I was going to say, you should almost
Telefax.
SMS message.
I like telefax.
That's
No,
what
it
we
could be.
got
Do we
next
even
year.
have a telefax?
No.
By horse and pony.
Can we add multimedia message?
If we
All
have-
in favor?
We didn't throw it
Aye,
out.
motion approved.
It's
Job.
here somewhere.
Resolved that the Journal News is hereby designated as the official newspaper for the Village of Pleasantville.
Second.
Second.
All in favor? Aye, motion approved. Brian, 63.
Resolved that the Board of Trustees of the Village of Pleasantville hereby approves the following employees to be authorized signatories for drafts and transactions at all depositories. Peter Shearer, Mayor, Mary Schwartz, Treasurer, Pam Hoffman, Deputy Treasurer, Lorraine Pears, Bookkeeper.
Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye, motion approved. Steve, 64.
Resolved that the Bank of New York Mellon County Trust Region, Pleasantville Branch, J.P. Morgan Chase Bank, Pleasantville Branch, Wells Fargo, Pleasantville Branch, and Hudson Valley Bank, Cutwater Investment Corp., Cutwater Asset Management, be and the same are hereby designated as depositories for all funds of the Village of Pleasantville, and is hereby directed that all funds of the Village of Pleasantville shall be deposited in said banks unless otherwise specifically authorized. And be it further resolved that no funds shall be paid by the Treasurer of the Village of Pleasantville except pursuant to a judgment or order or an audit or an allowance by the Board of Trustees as required by law, and an order designating such funds signed by the Mayor, Deputy Mayor, and countersigned by the Treasurer, or in his or her absence by the Deputy Treasurer. And be it further resolved that all checks or drafts or instruments for the withdrawal of money of the village from said depository shall be signed by the Treasurer, and that compensation for services of employees or officers regularly employed by the day, week, month, or year may be paid by the order of the Treasurer for services actually rendered or performed without specific order or audit of the Board for the payment of principal and interest on duly issued village bonds and certificates of indebtedness or tax notes, provided, however, that no wages shall be paid laborers except on a payroll certified as correct by the official of the village directly in charge of the work for which the money is being expended, and provided further that if the rules of the County Civil Service Commission have been extended to apply to such employees or officers by the Treasurer and the trustees, shall not audit any such bills rendered for compensation for services, nor shall the Mayor sign, nor the treasurer countersign any orders for the payment of payroll for such employees or officers until such payroll shall have been submitted to the County Civil Service Commission and certified by it that the payment or employment of said employees or officers is in accordance with the civil service law.
Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Motion approved.
Resolved that the Board of Trustees of the Village of Pleasantville hereby authorizes the village administrator to approve in-state conferences in accordance with General Municipal Law, Section 77-B, and further resolve that all out-of-state conferences be approved by the Board of Trustees.
Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor? Aye. Motion approved. John?
Resolved that the Board of Trustees of the Village of Pleasantville hereby sets the standard business mileage rate for transportation expenses for the village employees using their personal vehicle for village businesses as per the rate guidelines set forth by the Internal Revenue Service.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
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 Motion approved.
I think so.
Brian?
Now therefore be it resolved that the Board of Trustees authorizes payment in advance of audit of claims for public utility services, postage, freights, and express charges, and all such claims shall be presented at the next regular meeting for audit, and the claimant and officer incurring or approving the same shall be jointly and severally liable for any amount disallowed by the Board of Trustees.
Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Steve, number 68, you are reaping the results of having evaded number 59.
Yes.
Sum it up.
The village treasurer is hereby authorized to implement the following investment policy for the village of Pleasantville. Should I set my watch?
No,
It should
no,
be
no,
done
no,
in about
no.
an hour.
As stated in the record.
As stated in the record. On advice of.
Why don't you just read out the subheads?
This policy is outlined in terms of scope, objectives, delegation of authority, prudence, diversification, internal controls, designation of depositories, which I read a while ago, collateralizing of deposits, safekeeping and collateralization, permitted investments, authorized financial institutions and dealers, purchase of investments, purchase agreements. And if anybody can say collateralization 5 times in a row very fast and not blow it, I'd be surprised.
Is there a second?
Second.
So-
I do have a question.
Yep.
Why is the designation of depositories different here than what was resolved in 64? Mailpack National and TD Bank are both on here, but they weren't included in the 64.
Yeah, they were.
They were?
I don't think so.
I don't think so.
Remember Mayapack?
I'm looking at it. I don't see it.
Not
Hudson,
there?
Cutwater, but not Mailpack and TD. Should they be included or not included?
Well, I would include them. We don't typically use those for depositories. We use them for investment purposes. We do go to those banks for quotes for bonds and for notes. So there's a little difference in the services they provide, but it doesn't hurt to add more for deposit purposes.
You want to go back and revise the designation of depository for reserve funds?
Yeah, that would be helpful. That's
Okay.
fine. Thank you,
All right.
Jonathan.
Thanks, Jonathan. So let's go ahead with 68, and then we'll go back and Judy, revise 60?
We'll just add to 64.
Okay,
We'll
fine.
just-
Okay, so the investment policy as described, you've heard what the categories are. Anyone who might be interested in details, the full details are stated in the record and will be on the web when the minutes are ultimately up, and you're welcome to take a look. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion approved. So back to 64. Who had moved that, Judy?
It was Stephen Lopez.
Steve. So is the mover in agreement that we should add to 64 these 2 additions, which are Mayapack Valley Bank, Mayapack National Bank and TD Bank?
Yes.
Seconder?
Second. Was that the second?
Excuse me?
Who was
the
the
seconder?
Mindy was.
Second.
All right. So all in favor of that revision to resolution number 64 as just described?
Aye.
Aye. Approved. Number 69.
Resolved that the Board of Trustees of the Village of Pleasantville hereby adopts the purchasing policy as filed in the office of the village clerks.
Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Again, the purchasing policy is included in the record and describes the circumstances under which we require competitive bidding, and the and method of the competitive bidding, and also establishes the guidelines for emergency purchases, purchases of surplus or secondhand goods, goods and services
All
over
procurement
$15,
policies.
etc. That being the last of our resolutions, is there anything further to add to this happy night? Well, once again, I want to thank and congratulate Judge Curley. Welcome back. Delighted to be working with you again. And thank and welcome back Mindy Berard and Brian Skarstad for returning to the fold. Is there a motion to adjourn the organizational meeting?
So moved.
Second? Second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Our next regular meeting is a week from today, which is Monday, April 11, and that is also the public hearing on our draft budget, which you can take a look at on the web at pleasantville-ny.gov. Thank you and good night.